telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Oh boy, I just barely turned around in time.
You made it.
I was like trying to grab a copy of my book and it's underneath this heavy rock.
Well, I have to say that was a much smoother entrance than the one I
You
did.
have rocks in your office.
For me and Jennie.
It's a pretty rock. It's a pretty rock. See?
Oh, it is. Oh,
Geode.
yeah.
But
That
it's
is
heavy.
pretty.
So anyway, welcome to the Isn't It Romantic Book Club, everybody. We're going to be talking tonight to Sharon, our very own Sharon, and our very own Jennie about wedding tales. And Sharon's book was, because I have no memory at all, was Searching Forever After, and Jennie's was Save the Date for a Cowboy. So they were both very, very good, and we love them. And we will get to Sharon and Jennie in just a minute, but I want to say, hey, everybody who's watching here from the Isn't It Romantic Book Club, we're beaming in live to YouTube and Team Sourcebooks and Jennie's Page Turners and My Dangerously Dark Darlings. And I think that's everybody, right? Yeah. So, hey, welcome. I'm Abbie Rhodes. I write dark romantic thrillers. I tell people, think an episode of Criminal Minds meets a love story with a little paranormal twist. Capturing Fate has been out for a while. That's my purple book. And then here's Dangerous Dreams, the newest one.
Love the cover.
I know.
Love the cover.
I'm so in love with the O. The O. I just love that. I just could stare at that and I just love that so much. But you can actually buy the paperback right now. It's out, but the ebook is not ready. Or it's ready, but it's just not released yet. But the paperback you can get now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, good.
Hi, everybody. My name is Diana Muñoz Stewart. I write romantic suspense for the strong of heart. My book, Broken Promises, is out now. And so you can get that. And my book, let's see if this works, Hidden Justice, is going to be out April 18th. So you can pre-order that now.
Love that cover too.
I do too.
Oh, well, thanks, guys. And you know, I should have had a link to drop in, but scattered today. I'm so excited to be able to talk to you guys about this awesome anthology. And I get the privilege and honor of introducing Jennie. Jennie Marts is a USA Today best-selling author of award-winning books filled with love, laughter, and always a happily ever after. Readers call her books laugh out loud funny, so true, and the perfect mix of romance, humor, and steam. Fic Central claimed one of her books was the most fun I've had reading in years. She is living her own happily ever after in the mountains of Colorado with her husband, 2 dogs, and a parakeet that loves to tweet to the oldies. She's addicted to Diet Coke, adores Cheetos, and believes you can't have too many books, shoes, or friends. Her books include the contemporary Western romance Hearts of Montana series, the romantic comedy Cozy Mysteries of the Page Turner series, the hunky hockey-playing men in the Bannister family and the Bannister brothers books, and the small-town romantic comedies in the Lovestruck series of Cotton Creek Romance. And that will make you feel an quick. I mean, that list is like crazy. So awesome, Jennie.
Thank you. Well, and let me introduce Sharon. Sharon is a USA Today best-selling author who once worked as a chemical and patent librarian until she settled on her forever career writing romance and women's fiction novels filled with suspense, adventure, and love. Her best-selling Deadly Force romantic suspense series is set in a world with assassins who bow before killing, sexy green berets seeking redemption, and smart, sassy heroines who save them all. It's also a world where, since Sharon is slow and clumsy, her chances of making it out alive would be slim.
You know, I think next time I write my bio, I'm going to have you read it out loud first because I'm
Why?
going to change it.
I thought that was fantastic. And you admitting to being slow and clumsy. I don't know. I've never seen you.
I can't even tell you. And I have this dropping habit. Like my entire life, I drop things. I don't know
Really?
why. Oh, it's terrible. Like I'll take something out, I'll be carrying it to the counter from the refrigerator, and I just drop it for no reason.
And you had twins? How did you manage? I mean,
I was very careful. Very, very careful. I was actually seriously worried about that when I had babies, that I was going to drop stuff.
But
I drop stuff now as I'm in my 50s, I drop stuff all the time.
You-
I dropped a whole bottle of Advil the other day.
Oh,
But it was a brand new bottle, and so we just swept it up and put it in a little bowl, and we called it like the floor Advil. And we just made sure there's no dog hair in it.
but when you're desperate for an Advil, who cares?
It was a brand new bottle, so you know.
Oh, that's so
Right.
funny. That's
Yeah.
so funny. Jennie, I have to ask, how many books have you written?
I think maybe 32.
You
I
go,
think this
girl.
novella
I know, you're
was
my
the-
idol.
I know.
So, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a baby author still.
Oh, me too.
It's hard to believe that. It's hard to believe that.
But
my
you know,
first
Sharon,
one
that's
came
a,
out- my
Sharon,
first one came out in 2012, so it's been 10 years. So
Sharon, how many books
Oh,
have
wow.
you written? Not many. How many you've gotten published? How many have you written?
Oh, how many have I written?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, over 20.
Over
At this
20.
point- at
So
this
you're
point.
not far behind.
No, but they're not all published. And I
No.
don't know, some of them will eventually be published and others will probably never be published.
You
So,
started out at YA, right? Young adult.
I did. And
Yeah,
no, actually, it was
that's really
YA and I really wanted to be published by Harlequin Presents. And so I was writing YA on one hand and then Harlequin Presents on the other. And it was a Harlequin Presents author that I met at an Art of the Way conference who took my submission and read it and called me. This is back in the day when you had to mail submissions in. This was a long time ago. And she actually called me because my phone number was on the little thing at the top of the page. And she said, I really liked this, but you are a single title writer. She said, you're not a category writer. There's too much here. And that book is actually, that book's going to be the next book in the Deadly Force series.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
A Promise at Midnight. I don't have a cover for it yet. But yeah, so that book actually is the kernel of that story. And that book will probably be 120,000 words.
Nice.
wow.
And that's the novellas. So Jennie and I, when we did the novellas for Wedding Tales, we were both, the deal was they were source books authors and we had to write the books within the source book series world.
Okay.
So,
Little
I
dog.
wrote, oh, it's so cute. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the little puppies,
know.
doggies on there.
Sorry,
No,
Sharon. I
no, it's
totally
okay.
interrupted you.
No, I don't
Okay, so-
care.
say
No,
what
and
you-
so mine, so Jennie and I both wrote a wedding story based on one of the most previous books. So like mine was In Search of Truth. What was yours, Jennie's? What was yours?
Mine is out. Oh, I don't have that book sitting here. Mine is out of the Creedence Horse Rescue series.
Okay. So we each wrote a wedding tale, a story of a wedding into that series that leads into the next book. And mine leads into A Promise at Midnight, the book after Love's Last Kiss. And Jennie's actually leads into a whole new series.
Cool. Guys, I wanted to just give a shout out to the people that are here with us and enjoying our book club meeting. Someone, Facebook user, says, I have read books by all of you incredibly fabulous authors. Well, hello. I can't see your name, but hello to you because it just says Facebook user.
We love you if you've read all our
Yeah, that's sweet of you. Somebody says, my pup Rico is my favorite furry fella.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Rico is so cute. He's like a little gray gremlin. That's what he looks like. He's
Aw.
Cute.
I'm serious. Picture a little gray gremlin with the crazy hair. That's what Rico looks like.
Oh, well, hopefully we'll get to see a picture of Rico sometime and drop it in the book club. Someone else says, Jax is my pup's name. And someone else says, girl, I'm so clumsy too.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. It's
But
terrible.
do you eat your Advil that you dropped on the floor? I don't know.
Right. Now that's really tricky. And someone asked a question. Sharon Wray, did you write under your own name for YA? I'm always looking for authors for my daughter.
Oh, so my YAs were never published, but they're actually going back out on submission again. So when I wrote them, I wasn't sure if I was going to write under my own name or a pen name because YA publishers are weird about that. But I was writing dystopian and it died. Like that's like the story of my life. I write it, I get it out there, and it dies. Same thing
Right.
happened to me with
The
Hallmark.
genre is
My
no
Hallmark
longer.
book.
Yeah.
I was literally the night before I was submitting it, they closed their doors. So So, but if dystopia makes a comeback, I will be resubmitting them. I don't know what name I'll write them under because it depends on the publisher. Those I would traditionally publish if I could. But I can't, I'm not sure who the Facebook user is. I'm sorry, I can't see your name. But on my website, every 6 months, I do a updated list. It's a curated list of young adult books. I'll put it back in the web. Actually put a link in the Isn't It Romantic Book Club tomorrow. Just a major.
That's a great list.
I haven't done the February one. I'm still working on, but like the midwinter 2023, like the midsummer 2022 is up. And it's gotten huge. It's like 80 pages long now. And then alphabetical order by author.
Nice. I'm loving whoever said, heck yeah, I'm currently taking Flor Motrin. Thank you.
That's Marianne. That's Marianne who said that.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
My husband, Sharon, we talk about you being clumsy. My husband says that I can be just fine and normal, and I will choke on my own spit.
I do that.
All of a sudden, like getting this giant coughing fit, and he's like, How do you choke on your own spit? I don't know.
I do that too.
It's so funny. And I see you in your hot yoga, so I know you're coordinated.
Oh, no. You have not seen me do hot yoga. You see a picture of me inanimate at hot yoga. There's a difference.
Well, you keep going back, so we think you must be good. So.
Yeah.
But I'd like to ask each of you to describe your stories in the anthology, and I'd like to know more about the anthology and how you came to do it and the whole process of writing that short. But Jennie, first, if you could just tell us about your story.
Well, it's kind of fun because I have like the dog from my book right here with me.
So cute.
Aww,
This is Cooper, and he is actually he's the star of my story. So my story in this is called Save the Date for a Cowboy. So, they have save the date cards when you come for your wedding. And my story is about a reluctant cowboy who agrees to get set up at a wedding, but then he and his dog fall for the wrong bridesmaid. So one really fun thing about this anthology, and one really fun thing that we did, is on the back of the book or on the side of the book, we actually did a picture of all of the dogs
that's cute.
in our story. So there's 2 dogs in my story, and one of them is this little Havanese, which, have you ever seen a dog that is so cute? Like
He's so cute.
He's so cute. And here's Sharon down here while I'm being obnoxious and showing this weird thing.
White dog.
So anyway, my story is about a cowboy, imagine that, named Ford Lassiter, and he has got a golden retriever named Dixie, and he actually is the fill-in groomsman. He gets asked to be the fill-in groomsman, the groomsman at, which for those of you that read the Creedence Horse Rescue series, the wedding is Brody and Elle's wedding. So Brody and Elle were the 2 precious widowed characters in When a Cowboy Loves a Woman. And they had Mandy, the Brody's daughter was a 10-year-old, and Mandy is in the story. Seamus, the little mini horse, he is the ring bearer, and he wears a little tuxedo and walks down the aisle with Mandy, so cute. And he also, there's a strong possibility he might have eaten some of the wedding cake before those 2. But anyway, so the book opens with Ford is waiting outside the church at the rehearsal dinner. Thank you, rehearsal dinner. And he's waiting to go in, and he's got his dog with him because his dog ate a bunch of stuff, as golden retrievers do, and wasn't feeling well. And he sees this woman come out of the church, and she's carrying this tote bag, and she goes and she sits down on this bench, and she starts dropping food into the tote bag and talking to the tote bag and laughing and cracking up and just having this whole conversation with this tote bag. And he thinks she's maybe a little bit crazy. And he opens up the door to get out, and his dog jumps out and runs over and just like jumps up on the bench with her, puts her head in Elizabeth's lap. And he finds out that there's actually a dog in that tote bag. So she's not super crazy. That little cute dog is in the tote bag. But Elizabeth is really, she goes by Bitsy, And because her little brother couldn't pronounce Betsy, and so she's always been known as Bitsy, but Bitsy is anything but Bitsy. So she's tall, she's curvy, and she wants to escape like her life and this name. And so she takes her cousin's name tag. Her cousin is also Elizabeth. She's Elizabeth. And she takes her cousin's name tag and goes by Elizabeth. So when Ford thinks he's getting set up with Elizabeth at the wedding for just a fun weekend, and all Elizabeth wants to do is have a fun time, and she's not looking for commitment, and she's just looking for a fun weekend, and this is who he thinks he's getting set up with, and really he's getting set up with Bitsy. So it's really fun. And one thing that I just love about this story is that it's actually the prequel to a new series that's coming out called Love at First Cowboy, and it's the Lassiter Ranch. And I'll let Sharon tell you a little bit about her book, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about Lassiter Ranch. That was my little teaser.
And,
I know.
and that's up for pre-order, right?
Yes.
Yep, that's up for pre-order now. Love at First Cowboy.
Okay.
It's the first book
Put
in the
that in
Lassiter
for
Ranch.
everybody. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Diana.
So Sharon, tell us about your novella.
So mine is kind of an outlier because most of the authors in this anthology are cowboy authors or just rom-com, funny, contemporary, sweet and sexy contemporary romances. Mine is romantic suspense. I always feel like I'm the outlier because there are very few of us even left. I don't think there are any suspense authors left at Source Books anymore.
Right?
Yeah. So I was very happy that they included me, but I was also had to be careful because I couldn't put in all the death and destruction that normally goes in because it would be odd. Like, because Barbara, I think it was Barbara mentioned in the comments how funny Jennie's story is, and I beta read it. It's hilarious. It's wonderful. And I was like, I can't like have dead bodies lying all over the place in a collection with a cover like this, right? So the other thing was it didn't have to be 100% clean, but it had to be sweet, which meant there was no cussing. And I have cussing in my books, the men cuss. So I had to take all that out. So I was stressed. So, and a Facebook, I think it was Leisha actually asked earlier, like asked all of us, what was I think the hardest character that we ever wrote. Well, this was the hardest book and the hardest character I've ever written. And the hero in this, Zach Tremaine, was really hard, but the heroine destroyed me. Like, I usually connect very well with my heroines. I did not connect with her, and yet this is the best-selling book of the whole series for some reason. Wow. It's crazy. So the end of this book, Allison and Zach get engaged after all sorts of trauma. Like, bad things happen, and then more bad things happen, and then because it's suspense, like dead people show up. But then there's a pirate treasure. So it was like there's always some kind of treasure. But at the end of that book, they get engaged, and she says to him, I'm ready. She's a widow. She's finally ready to commit herself, but she's like, I don't want to set a date yet. Like, we'll definitely get engaged. That was a big deal for her to have him slip a ring on her finger. So this book is a week later, and they're actually getting married because a bad thing happens right after this ends, and they have to get married fairly quickly if he's going to be able to protect her. And so, and I'm going to just backtrack a little bit here. Someone asked about, or someone mentioned about how hard it is to write a short story. Part of the problem with writing a short story is you have to have a transformational arc, right? The character has to change, but it can't be this massive, like trauma from childhood that's solved in 30,000 words, or in our case, I think it was 25,000 words. So I had to have her change, but I didn't want it, but it couldn't be like this massive, big event. So I chose this idea that she was just afraid to get married so quickly. And so I had her have her face her fears. So I set up a suspense story where she ended up, the little tagline is, star-crossed lovers can't find the flower girl and her ring-bearer dog who disappeared on a remote Georgia Sea island hours before their long-awaited wedding. So there's a dog and a little girl in a story, and they get lost. So everyone has to go look for them because I needed her to be alone. And then as they're alone on the island, she runs into people. She's got to face her fears. So I don't want to give too much away because It is a suspense story, and if I do, you'll figure.
And
out
it's very
what
short.
happened. Yeah. So I mean, she's got to, on her own, she has to face her fear of the dark. She's got to face her fear of going through these dark, scary woods. She knows someone. She knows she's being hunted. She knows someone's taunting her. She knows that these bowing men, these assassins, are out in the woods, and she also knows that the man who terrorized her 2 weeks earlier is trying to terrorize her again. And so she has to save herself. Like, she really has to save herself without the men around this time, without the Green Berets, without the sexy banter, with none of that. She has to do it on her own, by herself, in the dark, at midnight, the night before her wedding. And she does. I won't tell you how she does.
So-
she does.
So I have a favorite scene from each one of your guys' books. And I'm going to start with yours, Sharon. I don't know why. This just struck me. I just loved it for some weird, you know how you just love something and you just don't even know why you love it. You know?
Yeah.
Love it. So like Juliet and Allison are driving down the road and they come to the barrier of the trees that were cut, and all of a sudden, like, Juliet whips out a gun, and then there's like a shotgun, and like I'm like she's like G.I. Jane.
She is. She is. And if you read her book, you know why. She's always packing.
Yeah, and I read her book,
I know.
but it's like I think it'd been so long I forgot that she was like that. But I just love that she's like so prepared, like, you know. So I just totally adored that. And then Jennie, my favorite part of yours was the Olympic gold medal for a belly flop.
Oh, that was so great. It was such a great scene.
That was just so good. I just loved that so much.
I will admit, Jennie and I had long conversations about what are cute country things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so there is a part in the book where Elizabeth is, Ford says, let's, go out and do something. And she's like, okay, I'd like to do things with you. And of course, that's not what she means, but it's sort of what she means. And she's like, well, every small town story I've ever read, they have like an apple picking festival or some small town thing to do. Like, what can we do? And he ends up taking her up into the mountains to his hunting lodge and a lake that he has that, of course, the hot springs feeds into this lake. So it's warm water and it's just perfect. And there's a rope swing, and Elizabeth
watch the stars.
Does try to really show her athletic prowess by using the rope swing, and it might not go quite as she.
That was a great scene.
Yeah, and I love his reaction.
What fun would it be if it all went according to plan, right?
Yeah. His reaction was just like perfect. Well, it depends on what you're going for.
Well, thank you.
Well, the other hard part for both of us was writing these novellas was you only have like 25,000 words. Jennie was starting off a new series, and I was leading into another book. So not only are you trying to have a self-contained story in few words with some kind of arc, right? Personal journey, but you're also setting up for another book. And that, I think, always adds some complexity to it. Like our editor used to call it hero baiting, but you hero baited better than I did.
I hero bait like crazy.
Yeah, you do.
And I wanted to have some characters and some of the Credence world too, so I wanted some characters from that, but I really wanted you to meet Ford and Elizabeth. And so then you've met them, they have this weekend together. And then of course there's a chance that things fall apart. And what the new book is when Elizabeth buys this rundown farm just happens to be right next door to Ford's farm. And the guy that she hires to fix up to be her handyman just happens to be Ford. So, but of course she believes that Ford is just kind of he never wants commitment. And so let me tell you a little bit about Ford Lassiter and this new Lassiter series, the Lassiter Ranch. So this is about 3 abandoned brothers.
Love their names, by the way.
I do too.
Forged by brotherhood, and their mom abandoned them with their grandparents, And she named all 3 of these brothers after the truck that their father drove away from them in. So their names are Ford, Chevy, and Dodge.
Love
And
that.
I love that.
And so there'll be a 3-book series, and each one will be about each different person.
And when is the first one released? Because someone asked. And
September. So it will come out this fall.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. But if you're dying for a cowboy story from Jennie Marts, let me tell you, I do happen to have a new book that's coming out like in a week. So, well, maybe 2 weeks. March 7th, Every Bit of Cowboy comes out. Let me just do a tiny bit of
very
self-promotion
nice.
here.
We love that cover.
I love the
Isn't
cover.
this
Love
cover
the
just-
colors.
Oh,
That blue just is so gorgeous.
I have to say, I think Source Books does an excellent, excellent job with their covers.
Oh,
think
they
they
do a great job. Well, this is Carly Chapman, the hairdresser, Jillian's sister from Never Enough Cowboy. And the hero is Knox Garrison. He's the deputy. And I'm just going to tell you what's in this book. So there's a hot cowboy, hairstylist heroine, 8 baby pygmy goats, a dog that rescues a horse, a fake fiance trope, and a whole lot of swoon.
And it's also kind of a reunion story.
A reunion story?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wrong book. Sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask her how she can keep them straight,
know.
Sharon.
No,
We're
I'm
excused.
thinking
We
about-
can't keep them straight.
Sorry. I'm thinking about one of the books she's working on. Sorry.
Oh,
Because that's a reunion story.
yeah.
The first
so-
book in the next series. Yeah. That's what sorry.
Yeah.
I get the series. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's the Christmas book. Is a reunion story.
Yeah,
The
that's
Christmas book is a second chance. So I actually have 5 books coming out this year.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot, girl.
And both Hallmark books are out. Didn't you have a third Hallmark
Yes.
book or not?
So both Hallmark books are out. And actually, what a great segue. So Rescuing Harmony Ranch right now, if you haven't read this book, it's $1.99 on Kindle for the rest of the month. So a few more days.
It's really good. I've read it. I really loved
Right.
it. Yeah.
So,
And I've
that's
got
the
the
kid.
audio
Yeah.
of the second one, that other one. I can't remember the name of it. Yep, I have
Okay,
the
right.
audio of that one. Yeah.
Oh, really? I haven't
do.
heard the audio of it. So,
Yeah, it's really good. I'm just like maybe a couple chapters in, but it's very
Aw.
good.
Well, this book will come out in mass market paperback, so the smaller size in Walmart this summer.
And when does the first cozy come out?
So the first cozy, which I got ARCs this week.
You did.
I know. So I actually have.
Can
a
you send me?
copy.
Do you have any e-arcs? Can you send me an e-arc?
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Looking
that's
at
so
right now.
I
cute.
love
So,
the
so
cover.
cute. I don't know how to get rid of that
It's a
shadow.
little
there.
shine,
glare, but it
yeah.
is so gorgeous.
Very cute.
Look at that's Cooper right there. That's my dog.
Aw.
Oh, and those are like all bee boxes, right?
They're all bee boxes, and then way back here is some dead body feet.
Oh, I love it.
It's
So
adorable.
that's actually what I'm working on right now is the next
Yeah.
story in this series, but this one comes out this summer. So
Oh,
So
good.
take the honey and run.
take the honey and run. Yep.
The best
Very
title,
cute.
too.
That's
I
a great
love
title.
that.
That's super
So
cute.
since someone asked, I'll ask, and Sharon, you answered. So, but I'll ask Jennie. What was the hardest book you wrote? And Leisha asked, who is the hard? What is the most difficult character you wrote?
So it's funny because I just answered this question for someone else today. The hardest book that I wrote
The Christmas book
was
finished.
the Christmas book was hard, but the hardest book I wrote really was A Cowboy State of Mind, which just happens to be $1.99 on Kindle right now too through the rest of the month. But it wasn't that this book was necessarily hard to write the story. It was hard because I wrote it in 2020. It was due in October, which October was the month that my 26-year-old son had been diagnosed with testicular cancer. And he had a month of chemotherapy and he lived an hour away from us. So I took 6 weeks off work and I moved in with him for a month. And because it was COVID, I couldn't go in with him to chemotherapy. You know, you see chemotherapy, these people sitting in these chairs and their loved ones are with them. I couldn't go in. I had to like drop him off at the door and just send my baby boy in for chemotherapy. And this book was due. So I would just sit in the parking lot. I would go back to his apartment and I would try to focus on writing this book during one of like the hardest things ever. So that was probably my hardest book to write. But the one, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like lately I just keep saying this is the hardest book I've ever read.
It's the current book you're writing is the hardest book.
The Christmas book, I wrote 55,000 words in like 3.5 weeks to finish it. So that's what Sharon was talking about, that the Christmas one was really hard. But sometimes I get in my groove at the end, and when I write really fast like that, it just all flows and it works really well. But hardest character? I don't know what the hardest character would. I don't know. I have to think about that.
Then flip it, Jennie. Who's the easiest character?
You know what? The page turners are the easiest ones for me to write. So my page turner series is a group of women in a book club who search for clues and romance while solving murders and eating really great desserts. And this was the first, not this one, this is the fourth book in the series, but this series is the first book that I ever wrote. And every time I write these books, it's like going back to my small town and hanging out with my best friends.
Aww.
Like, I just feel like I'm hanging out with my old friends when I'm in this book and I'm back in this town, and this whole world is so, so real to me. So these are kind of my easiest ones.
You know what I will say too, like reading, because I read yours first, Jennie, and then I read Sharon's just because yours came first in the book. and it's funny because like I read yours, Jennie, and I am just so there in this town, this small Western town, and just that whole small town vibe. It's like I'm just so totally there. And then like I switched and I'm reading Sharon's, and it's like this like swamp, but it's like this savannah feel to it still, with like the chapel that they're getting married in, and like the cemeteries with the crypts and all that.
The big mausoleums, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, and then that is just so like atmospheric too. And I just think you guys both did such a good job of just like setting that atmosphere so plainly, you know, that you're just totally there in both of them.
Oh, thank you.
Good job, guys.
Thank you. So while Jennie was hero baiting, I in the story was trying to bait the next story, but I didn't have enough, because the hero had already had his story, and I didn't have room to actually have another hero. The dog and the little girl who go missing are the dog and the little girl of the heroine in the next book. Like, so that's how I was trying to connect to the next book. So Susan and Nicholas Trott play a huge part, because Susan's mother is the heroine in the book A Promise at Midnight, which is coming hopefully in November, but we'll see. But,
that's exciting.
So I was baiting a dog. Dog baiting.
I was dog baiting.
Baiting.
I didn't know what else to do. And then so I'm not sure if we mentioned this or not, but there's actually going to be a volume 2.
That is so cool.
Of this book. I'm not sure
Will
if
it all
all
be
of
the
the
same authors?
I'm not sure if Lucy's going to be in it. I can't remember if she.
We're going to try to get her in it.
Yeah. Because Lucy's kind of moving on to other things as well. But we all write in multiple genres, right? So
yeah.
So my goal for this is to have A Promise at Midnight come out, in this fall, and then the wedding in that book will actually be in Wedding Tales too, because it's going to come out next Valentine's Day.
Cool.
So we're going for a year pre-order instead of a 2-week pre-order.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I see that someone asked Jennie, because you mentioned desserts. Someone wants to know, do you add recipes in your books?
That's Marianne who's asking. I can see it in
I
my
can't
group,
see.
but-
I can't see.
So in the back of this book, Yes, I have a bunch of honey recipes in it. And what's
Ooh.
really fun is my mom, who's an excellent cook, she's like, well, you can't just put some recipes in there without trying them. So my mom came over one day at like 10 o'clock in the morning. We cooked and baked like
Oh, how fun.
different versions of different things. We made, I think, 11 different recipes. We baked for like
Aw.
12 hours. We had all the family come over and taste test the different there's like a ricotta, there's like a whipped ricotta cheese with honey on it that we tried some different variations. One is more citrusy and one more. And I made a hot spice honey, which is the murder weapon in the book. The Granny B's Honey I'm Home hot spiced honey is the murder weapon. And we made casitos and this Puerto Rican dessert. And we tried out different versions of that. And I can tell you that I'm glad we did the honey lemonade because it was disgusting. So I did not put that recipe in the book. It tasted terrible. So some things did not make it.
On the surface, you'd think
It
honey
sounds
lemonade.
wonderful.
Yeah, honey lemonade sounds really good, but it was yuck. So or the
Wow.
recipe we tried was yuck. So anyway, it was a fun thing, and I'll be posting pictures of that on my social media as the book gets closer. But yeah, I do put recipes in occasionally.
I put all my recipes on my website because I put a ton of food in my books too, probably to offset all the gloom and doom and atmospheric cemeteries and stuff. But I have it. Instead of putting it in the book, I put it all on the website, and then I write little short stories, like, you know, about what might have happened at someone's wedding reception or birthday party or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You're
that's
so
awesome.
clever, Sharon. Like I see you
are.
all the time.
Isn't that part of your newsletter too? Do you put them in your newsletter, those recipes?
Do you know, I used to, but they were going to spam, and I think it was the plugin I was using, like the formatting, and so I stopped doing it. So what I'll do is sometimes I'll put in the newsletter saying there's new recipes up on the website, and just put the main website address.
Yeah, we need to promote that more in the group because you have amazing recipes.
Mm-hmm. You do.
Well, I guess my Hallmark books have recipes in them too. You know, Hallmark has a recipe in every book. But in my newsletter, I have Cooper's Corner. My dog has his own corner, and he will oftentimes share a recipe or a craft.
Oh, I love that he shares a craft.
Yes, or a recipe that he cannot eat. So I try most months to try to give Cooper his Cooper's Corner, and he has recipes and crafts that he
Jennie,
cannot make or eat.
When does that book actually come out for real?
The Take the Honey and Run?
Honey and Run, yeah.
Oh, July.
Okay.
July. It comes out this summer. Which
is it up for pre-order right now?
It's up for pre-order. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And thank you for everyone complimenting the cover. I'm very excited.
Oh yeah, they did a great job. Do you have the cover of the second book yet?
No, but you know what's really interesting about Cozy Mysteries, because they're these illustrated covers like this, or maybe it's with Crooked Lane, I don't know, but I actually told them like what I wanted, and then someone drew this to what I wanted. Which is really, you know, sometimes you, as authors, when we do indie books, we, you know, get this idea in our head, and then we have to go try to search out the perfect picture, and no picture seems to ever match exactly what we were thinking. So when they originally sent me this, it had kind of like a cabin in the background. And I sent him back a message and I said, oh, it's supposed to be like a 2-story farmhouse, this big rambling farmhouse with all these rooms and this big attic room and dormer windows. And I sent him a picture of like what I was imagining. And they just drew that picture right there of that farmhouse.
Wow. You know, that's really cool because that's like original artwork right on the front. How cool.
That's
and I've never had that with another book. And this book will be my first hardback. So
it's a hardback.
It's a hardback.
Oh, how fun.
Wow, that's exciting.
Anyway, I turned in what I want for the next book, and we'll see what they do. But I've never experienced that before where somebody actually draws a picture for it.
Have you written that book?
Very cool.
I'm working on it right now. It's not due till June.
Well, I think we're all
plenty of time.
Because
so
Abbie, go ahead. Sorry, Diana. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, do you guys have any live events planned for this year?
I just did did one last week for Valentine's Day.
Oh, really? Where'd you go?
Yeah, there's a bookstore in Arlington, Virginia called One More Page, and it's
Oh,
a
neat.
very tiny independent bookstore, but it's kind of famous in the area. It's very old. And so I did it with a bunch of other authors. But, Valentine's Day night is not a great night.
No one goes to the bookstore.
And my husband was a little bit put out, like, what are you doing? So it was fun. It was really, really fun. And it was fun to be out and about again. But I'm not going. I was going to go to Houston with Jennie in June, but I'm not. But I'm hoping to go the following year with Jennie if she'll still take me.
Heck yeah.
Are you doing that one this year, Jennie?
No, I don't think so. Okay. But what I am doing in the last weekend of March, first weekend of April, March 31st, I think, through the 2nd, is Readers Take Denver. And it's a huge book signing in Denver. And there's just a ton of, you could look it up, Readers Take Denver, ton of readers, ton of authors. And the authors are both romance and thriller mystery authors.
Oh, fun.
So I'm excited to do that. And there'll be book signings 2 different days. And so if you are in the Denver, Colorado area,
is this going to be your first book signing out since the pandemic?
No, I've been out and about. So
but
my first big, huge one like that, where
that's what I meant.
1,000 people. Yeah, that's my first big one like that.
Because I haven't done any of those. Because I'm not going to Houston. I didn't do it. But anyway, how about you guys, Abbie and Diana? You're going to a big one. Aren't you going to Reckless?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to Book Bonanza.
Oh, Book Bonanza. Okay.
Yeah, in Texas. And then I'm actually doing, that's the end of, not the end, I think it's like the 19th, 20th area. I'm so organized. And I'm also doing Steamy LitCon, which is in California in August.
Oh.
So that's a big one. And I'm really excited about it. It's just the first year they're having it. And my sister is not too far, so I will be able to go visit her at the same time.
I thought you were doing one on the East Coast too. Are you not? I don't know why I thought you were doing one.
No, those are just the 2 I'm doing. Yeah.
Abbie, are you doing anything?
Just doing small stuff. I've got a little event in Cambridge, Ohio called Writers at the Crossroad. And it's just like a little teeny tiny town, and their little library does a little fundraiser every year. And I just show up for that because I really like them there. They're very nice. And then I'm doing Pen Writers in May. There's a book signing there, I think Saturday afternoon, and I'll be there. And that's all I have planned. I am like feeling too cheap.
I was going to do.
You have to fly there and hotel and food, and I'm just like, how many thousands of books will I have to sell to earn back my money to have gone?
I was going to do the Charlottesville Festival of the Book, the big Virginia book one, but the fee they wanted. And then you have to have a business license now in the state of Virginia. Oh. So you're right. I'm not going to sell enough books to cover the cost. Mm-hmm. So
you're really disappointing whoever just said, please say Virginia.
Virginia's a really big state though. So. But yeah, so I mean, but I really enjoyed the one I did just last week. That was really, really fun. But
cool.
Like you, Abbie, things have gotten so expensive unless I can tie it in with visiting family or something like that, or go to New Orleans or someplace fun.
Mm-hmm.
Houston in July just doesn't really. My niece lives there, so I can't say anything bad about it.
So maybe next year we can do something and do a book club thing. Have some readers out. That would be so much fun.
We ought to find a location and the 4 of us meet, and then contact a local independent bookstore.
That'd be fun.
Do a signing there. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun. Let's make it happen.
I think we should.
Yeah, we can contact Nora's bookstore. See if we can do it up in Boonesboro.
All right.
Hey, perfect.
She does stuff like that all the time.
I'll call Nora. She's on my speed dial. On my
Text her right now.
Yeah. Not call, just text. FaceTime her.
So before we end, Abbie, when is your book coming out? When is Dangerous Dreams coming out?
Dangerous Dreams. The
Well,
paperback.
the ebook. I meant.
Paperback's out now. Ebook is out March 14th.
Okay.
So,
So close.
And when is the next one coming out after that? Are you doing a
like
rapid release?
June 9th or something like that. They're coming out 3
I
months
want
apart.
to see that cover.
It's actually
Oh,
right back there.
I
That
can't
one.
see it. Peering.
Moving my computer.
Oh wow! Oh, they're beautiful. They're all beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah, and then
so good.
Yeah.
oh boy, this is like holding my laptop up.
Oh my god!
They're
I love
really
those.
beautiful
They were-
covers. Really
And
beautiful.
are you going to change then Capturing Fate?
Yeah, I'm gonna change Capturing Fate, and then Capturing Fate will have a new title, and so will Saving Mercy have a new title and a new cover.
Oh, and I loved Saving Mercy's cover.
I love them too, but I have to change. I
Right.
have to.
I know.
'Cause-
And Diana, when is yours coming out again?
Hidden Justice is coming out April 18th.
And are
So
they?
I'll have to plan something fun in the
Are
book
you
club.
also rapid releasing those books?
Well, you know what I'm doing? I'm putting that in KU. So
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. But you're doing the other ones too, right? You're releasing the other ones in the series.
oh, okay.
Isn't it?
Well, I am. I'm going to release the second one later this year, but
Okay.
not right after the other, because you know what? It actually takes a little bit of time, and I'm working on some other things. So
So we're all busy.
I
Yeah.
know.
Everything
Okay.
takes time.
I
I wish
am-
you could write a book in a few weeks. But
well, Jennie, you can.
Jennie can.
Yeah, that was Jennie.
So stop. Well, it was so much fun to get to talk to you guys tonight. I absolutely love when we just get to chat ourselves. Although I love our author friends too, and I'm super excited about our next author, one of our most favorite guests ever for March. You guys are going to be so excited. We're going to be reading Lori Foster's The Dangerous One.
woo,
I love that
I can't
cover.
wait.
That is
I
just,
know.
and she is so great. I can't wait to chat with her about this book and about the next in this new series.
yeah.
Oh, it's a new series.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
This is
that's even
book
better.
one. Yeah,
Oh, that's
Wow.
great. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And that's the end of
So-
March, right?
that'll be at the end of March. And I think it's actually on a Saturday that we're chatting
Oh
with her.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I forgot about that.
So something different and fun.
That's wonderful. I'm really
Yay.
excited. So
Oh, and other people. Lori just posted she just got her copy of Dangerous One today. So
Yeah, I have my
Okay,
copy
people are
already.
people are already doing it. That's great.
And thank you for whoever just said loved hearing us, that we made you feel loved and included. That's our whole goal. We love you all.
we do. We totally
We
do.
absolutely do. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we can't wait to see you next month. And we'll see you. You know, one of us will be in the group every day, so always pop in there, and we'll see you
I
there.
think I forgot my
All right.
day on Tuesday.
Except Sharon, who's going to forget?
I think I can't remember now.
It's okay. Sometimes
okay.
I forget to motivate everyone on Monday, and I'm supposed to be Motivation Monday, and sometimes I just can't get motivated to remember.
Someone might be there, I should say. I don't know.
Yeah, someone might be there.
Show up, yeah.
We'll show up eventually.
Okay, guys. All right, guys. Have
Okay.
a great week. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.